Hi everyone, today we're going to make a card with the ink box print technique, but this time we're going to be using an Elements ink box, which gives this gorgeous oval shape, and combined with the stamps from the New Forest Realm collection, this just screams storybook to me. I think that would be a fantastic opening page to a wonderful book. I know some of you make stories up with the Lavinia stamps. I'm not that great a storyteller, but I know some of you are, and I think this would just make a wonderful first page. Or imagine opening that and having a cutout and going through to this wonderful realm of mushrooms and toadstools and fairies. So we'll be using the new, let me have a look, what Wild Leaf Corner this is called, and I just think it just does something wonderful to the image somehow. I started off with a square one. I'll show you from my sketchbook. I've started keeping my notes so I remember when people ask me what inks I've used, because it all goes off to Lavinia HQ and I'm thinking, oh, what did I use? So I've been good and keeping a note, but it also means I can show you one of the other samples because I took a copy. So this one was just using a square ink box, but like I say, we're applying it to an Elements box today, and there's going to be a few things like that where you've not got something, you might not have something yourself particularly. There's often a way to adapt and to do something a bit different and think, well, what if I use this? So that's a what if moment. What if I use the Elements box rather than the square Distress Oxides? So let's get going. Now I started with a piece of the Multifarious A6. This is my favourite. I know it's more economical probably to buy some bigger sheets and cut them down, but I just find this so handy size wise, and it's perfect for this box, and it fits exactly on trimmed down. It fits onto an A5 card, so that all works very well for us today. So there we go, that's my Multifarious card. I need a paintbrush and some water, and of course my box. So what I'm going to do, the paintbrush is rolling away, I'm just going to ink up the edges. Now it is a little trickier, I think, than the square one because it's a bit harder to line up an oval, I discovered. I'm just going to put it at an angle because that's how I can see it best. But since we're going to trim this anyway, there's always a bit of wiggle room, so I think we're going to go for that. So that's fairly central. Now each one of us is going to be different how this comes out, because it depends how juicy your ink pad is, it depends how hot your room is, well, there's probably all sorts of other things, you know, humidity and stuff. But there's always, again, like I say, ways to make things happen when they don't happen as much as you want them to. So I'm pulling that water up, and I'm kind of jiggling that ink line, is how I would describe it, to activate that ink. Now some of it's already decided it's sitting in the card, which is fine, because we can add some more colour in a minute. So I'm just kind of jiggling around my wet paintbrush, technical term that, you know, on that line, just to get that ink coming out like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some colour to my paintbrush as well. So I'll find here we go. That's just a little acrylic block. Pop some of the elements on there and pick up some of that colour on my brush, and I can just darken it around the edges and give myself a bit more colour. And because my card is wet, it's going to smoosh quite nicely, give me a watery background. I mean, you can, again, there's other combinations. You could use the Elements lid with the Distress Oxide box to give a square but in an Elements colour, or the other way around. You could, sorry, a Distress ink colour. You could use your Distress ink box lid or a jam jar or all sorts of things that you can print with to get which shape you want. But today we're doing an oval with the Elements box. So there we go. I'm going to give it a bit of a blast with the heat tool. Just a bit left there in the middle. There we go. And then we can add our shrooms. So there's a couple on this card. This collection, I think, combined with the last two collections, there's just such a fabulous collection now of toadstools and mushrooms, which pleases me greatly because I adore them. So these are elfin caps and moss caps. So these are the moss caps, and these are elfin ones. We've added some gold to add some sparkle. Just delightful. So we're going to make a little mushroom or toadstool, we'd cluster, would you call it? Little cluster there for the fairies to visit. So I used Warm Breeze for my elfin caps and a piece of paper to just mask off. Now you can, if you want, draw around the Elements box and be a bit more, so you've got a curved mask. I'm just winging it with a straight line, which can be a little tricky, but we'll get there. Right, as organised as I can be. Always find that it's the last ink box that you pick up. So here we go. Warm Breeze, and let's ink up these elfin caps, and they're going to go just on the side. Make sure it goes to the bottom because you can just about mask this bit off and the bottom two can fit in. So I'm lining the piece of paper up with this edge of this oval. There we go. So it's almost reaching the top of that shape. There we go. See how it masks in there. And then we need our single elfin. So I'm just going to wipe off that excess, where that's come from. Single elfin cap, again with the Warm Breeze. Pop this in the middle. Let's put this, I'm just masking off that corner because I know it's going to come down here. Let's pop it there. And then the joy of some of these single ones is that bend that you can give them, so they can, you're adding a little bit of movement to your piece. So we'll bend this round so it can peep in at the edge. Again, Warm Breeze, and we'll mask off this edge. Ooh. Spinning around. So where this line is going to come off, that's where I'm going to mask it off with my piece of paper, and we'll have it peeping in there, I think. There we go. And then we'll add the other ones in. I'm going to use Monarch for the others. So there's two sizes of these moss caps. I'm going to start with the little one. Find this gorgeous purple. I didn't need to ink it all because I'm probably not going to use a whole length of this toadstool, but no, don't need to worry about it. So let's pop that one under there. and then a couple more over here, I think, of the little ones. Let's put this one here. Aren't they pretty? The detail is just incredible. I could probably say that every time I do a video. She's just clever, isn't she? Our Tracy. All these designs. I'm going to put one here, I think, so it's going to come off about there. So let's pop that there. So that's the smaller of the two. This is the bigger one. So it's just not a huge difference, but enough to add some really nice texture and difference in size to the piece. Let's get another one. Let's put a bit of height around here. So I might put it to the side a little bit, this one. You know how this one's coming off the oval? Let's do that with this one here. Just mask it off there. And then we'll put another one down at the bottom. Around here, I think. There we go. Excuse me. There we go. So that's our stamping. Put my piece of paper around. Let's bring this so you can see it. And then we're going to add a little bit of text behind here, not a huge amount. I'm going to use the new Forbidden Secrets, it's called. Again, it's gorgeous tiny writing, and there's lots of lovely words in there, which we'll use in a bit of a different way in a second. I'm going to pop my piece of paper back under here because I'm going to use the elements because it's the same colour, and I'm just going for a little hint of text behind there. It really is a little hint, just in those gaps, just to have a little bit of texture. There we go. There we are. And then we're going to add the corner. Now, my block isn't quite big enough. I definitely have a bigger block somewhere. Can I find it? No. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So just to make you feel better. And also show that even if you've not got exactly the right thing, there's usually a way round. So this is the have a look. Wild leaf corner. There's a good collection of corners in this set, and like I said before, it just makes me think of storybooks and storytelling. And there we go. So we ink that bit up, and I'm going to line up this leaf here. Works really well as the middle, and then it's kind of sweeping up and they're overlapping. You see this is coming down a little bit further than this side, and I think it just encompasses that that oval shape. So it's this little shoot that I'm going to line up, just popping in to that oval shape. And like I said, we're going to trim this slightly anyway, so we don't need to worry about stop that now. We don't need to worry about any little minor differences. So that's that way around. Let's do the same at the top. I mean, to be fair, it looks nice like that, doesn't it? You could just use one, but we're going for two today. But that's another what if. What if I only do one of them? I think it just expands how you use your stamps and gets you on a little journey of play, trying things out, seeing what happens. That does include things that don't work, which I think as adults we find a bit hard. So that's that shoot, you see it, that I'm just kind of lining up in the middle and along here. I'll go for that. There we go. So did you see, although I didn't have a block quite big enough for it, well, I have somewhere, but who knows where it is, I'm still able to use this stamp quite effectively. There we go. The next thing, I'm going to add the gold. Now, I am a huge lover. If you've seen my other videos, I absolutely adore this Kuretake ink drop of shimmer. It's just, yeah, it's what the shiny one is what they put in the Wink of Stella pens, and so many people asked if they could have it as a separate pot, that they did, but they do it in gold, silver, and I think silver's more the Wink of Stella, and they do a glitter. Gold is my favourite. Oh no, before we do that, we need to colour these in. There's various ways to colour your toadstools in, mushrooms, toadstools, whichever. You could use your Kuretake pens, which is what I did on the square one. But with this one's a Kuretake pen straight on there. And this one, I've used the Elements inks, which is what I'm going to do with this video now. Because you might just have the Elements inks, and it's just to show you the versatility of what you've got. You know, it's not just stamping ink, and there's so many things you can do with them. So that was a bit of Sahara, because can you see this line here? I feel that this just needs a little bit of the yellow behind it to just soften that, so it looks like the mushrooms in front. And I'm going to use confetti, I think, have some nice pink. So I'm dabbing it on my acrylic block, wet paintbrush, and just colour them in. There we go. I think I do like pink and turquoise together. So there's a lot of shading from the dots on here is where I'm putting most of the colour, and then it's getting a bit lighter where there's not that. So the stamps themselves do kind of guide you to giving them a bit of 3D. And these inks, I mean, you can mix them together. You can mix that yellow in to kind of make an orangey colour. You could use your watercolour paints, you could use your watercolour pencils. So there's so many options for colouring, so use what you've got and make your art materials really work for you, work for their money. I have another pink one here. I need a bit more confetti. There, a bit more water. Like I say, dark around those. It's mainly around the edges, and it looks like it's catching the light in the middle. You see how that one's an orangey one now? Let's add a bit of yellow on the top of this one. Again, you can just play around with the colours and the effects. And then I'm going to add a little bit of that. I've got Blue Lagoon here, let's just use a little bit of that. Mix that with the pink and get a purpley colour. Oh, it's quite a blue, there's not much pink in there. Let's pick some pink up. Just to get a bit of variety. But you use whatever colours you've got. There we go. And because I've got the Blue Lagoon there, let's use that for the stems. Stem stalks? Would there be stalks on a toadstool? Probably. Colour those in. This is quite a fine brush. Number 1, I think it is. From the Lavinia stamp sets. There we go. Again, you could do that with your clean colour pens, your watercolours, or your pencil crayons. There's so many ways of colouring. There we go. And we'll give that a wipe and use the mulberry, I think, for these moss caps. Again, just the same way, pick up that colour, and I'm just going to give a bit of shading to that light patch. There we go. I'm going to make it a little bit darker here because you can just about see the stem behind. I'm just going to cover that up with having a darker toadstool. There we go. Here we are. So that's our toadstools covered. And then, now we can get out the gold. I was too eager before. I'm going to give it a shake because it does settle to itself. But also, I'm probably just going to be using bits out of the lids is probably enough. So I just slightly took a bit of that water off my brush so it's not too wet, and I'm picking out the big, what would be dots on the toadstool, just to make some very nice shiny gold elements. So just pop those where you'd like them. Some of them small, some of them a bit bigger. It's these ones that look like it's a lumpy toadstool that I like, coming off the edges. There we go. It's a bit like grown-up colouring in. Well, it's grown-up colouring in, isn't it? We've done that. Very, very relaxing, I find this. Adding dots. And this ink is just so shiny. If you've not got this, you could use a Kuretake metallic pen, or any of the other. I've not tried the shiny watercolours yet. They'd probably be quite good as well. You could use a gold Posca. So please don't feel like if you've not got the exact materials that you can't do it. There's usually something else. But we're all terrible for wanting everything, aren't we? You know, I've decided I'm a colour collector as much as anything. If something comes out and I need all the colours. So I say need in the way that you understand as need as well. It doesn't always happen. There we go. So that's added those, and then I'm going to do a bit of splatter. To do my splattering, I will need a little bit more. Just tapping my brush, getting some of that, just little bits of gold. Going there. And then it just takes a minute or two to dry. The heat, you can heat it, but I'm not convinced that it heats it underneath because of the what it'll use to combine the shine with the liquid. That can heat and bubble, and that's not the effect I want. So I'm just going to leave that for a second and come back to you. So my gold splatters are now dry, and I've taken the time off camera to just trim the card around. I just took off a few millimeters each side to make it fit on an A5 card. So that's what I've done there. So all we've got left to do really is add the words. Now, there's not a great deal of space up there to do the words there on this card, so I think I'm going to pop them down here. Now it's got some gorgeous words on here. It's Embark on an Enchanted journey, explore the magic within, and it goes on about a forest gateway. I'm just going to use the first bit. So I think I'm going to have Embark, and then On Anne, and then Enchanted Story. So I'm going to do it in 3 goes. You can do it in a couple of ways. You can colour the word in with a Kuretake pen or any pen that'll stay wet, and you get this lovely kind of loose, almost watercolory effect of the writing. What I'm going to do, because it's down here, just because I think it might look a little better, is I'm going to use my VersaFine Forest, the same as I've used with the leaves. And I'm just going to use the corner and just try and highlight the word Embark. Now, I've gone over it onto the next word slightly, so I'm going to take that off with a water-based baby wipe. Like that. I think we've got pretty much all that writing on there, so we're going to go with Embark. And you don't need a great deal of pressure with these words, you just need to kind of let it sit. There we go, Embark. Now this one's going to be a bit trickier. On Anne. Let's have a look whether we can fit. No, definitely just needs to be On Anne. Now, the other way I've done it in the past is by having a little bit of paper or tape on the other side, but I think I'm just going to tap, 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 and then wipe off what we don't need. We don't need that letter there. All this bit here. We don't need the Enchanted. The other way you can do it, obviously, is to stamp it on a piece of paper and just cut it out, which would be a lot easier, but I quite like doing it this way. So, On Anne. And then we'll have Enchanted Journey. Such delicate lettering, it really is. But it's that same, the font really fits with that storybook feel for me. I think this is going to be a popular word stamp, certainly in my book. That was not an intended pun. But I am desperate to get some bookmaking done with these images. And then we'll pop Enchanted Journey down there. There we go. Embark on an enchanted journey, isn't it just so inviting, that? So then all that's left to do is to mount it. I often mount on black. I think it gives it quite a just makes it all stand out. And then pop it on your A5 card, and there's your Mushroom Realm card. I hope you enjoyed that, and please let me know if you have a go, especially if you do it with different mushrooms or different colours. Just, you know, try change one different thing and see what you get. You might want silver spots on your toadstools, or shiny blue, or the sparkle Posca pens would be nice, wouldn't they? So thanks for joining me. Have fun.